Welcome into the Rob Bro Show. I am Rob Bro. I am the host. You are the co-host. You can co-host today by commenting below in the starting line chat line. We're here in the Diversified Lenders Studios with Carson Robinson today. As always on a Friday. What's up, Carson? How you doing?
Doing all right, Robbie. Doing all right.
Doing all right. Surviving. Living life.
Surviving. That's right.
Let's see. Lots to talk about today. We got the Oregon Ducks in town. We've got the Kansas City Chiefs recap from last night in the NFL. Patrick Mahomes should have just been throwing it to himself. The wide receivers were doing nothing. We'll talk about that as well. I do want to open up with some high school football too. Some high school football on ESPN2 and some high school football here locally. Ryan chiming in. Happy Friday, fellas. Happy Friday, Ryan. There on the starting line, chat line. Monterey Friendship last night on the call with Jeff Haxton, which I do a little play-by-play, Carson. But when you get to do it with him, who is so polished and has been doing it for quite a while now, it's a really fun time. Really fun time there with Jeff. He learned me a couple of things there in the breaks that I'll take forward.
Yeah, Hax does a great job.
But he was calling the game. It was 31-31 at halftime. At the end of the game, Monterey had nearly 600 yards rushing. Friendship had nearly 600 yards passing. It was a contrast of styles, to say the least. It was I formation versus empty a lot of the game. It was just really, really fun to watch. But Monterey Friendship, it ended in a 4-overtime thriller. Beautiful, beautiful game. And then you had the misfortune of Friendship winning, but, go Friendship.
Yeah, I mean, you just wanted a good football game at that point, and you got one. I mean, in the words of Keith Jackson, he used to say, "We got a dandy today," and it ended up being a dandy. And I wish I could do the Keith Jackson voice, but anyways, yeah, just a really, really good football game. Not one that many people expected Monterey to hang around in for the most part, with how good Jay Northcutt's team at Friendship's been. But, Monterey was 2-0 coming into the game. Not a lot of people saw him being 2-0 after going 0-10 last year. So the turnaround that they've had this year, especially after your best player, the district player of the year, really last year, and Jaden Hibbler moves off to Lubbock Cooper. They didn't see this coming, especially from a rushing heavy attack. So really, it's nice to see Monterey be as successful as they've been here early.
Yeah, had 4 running backs working in, but Jamarcus Smith had, I think, 39 carries.
That's a lot. That's a lot of carries.
That's a lot of carries.
It's a lot of carries.
A lot of carries, but he was fresh at the end, man. I mean, you could tell he was getting worn down there in the overtimes, but
yeah.
Pretty
Friendship's a good ball club. Hudson Hutchinson, the quarterback, he can fling it. He's got Leighton Stone, one of the best. And Leighton Stone's another one of those guys that you could probably see in red and black here in a couple of years as well.
Offered.
Youngster. Yeah, he's got offered. I like that. I like the way that kid plays. And Friendship's fun to watch. And they're well coached. Jay Northcutt's done a really good job there. They'll have a chance to win that district again in 6A. District 2 and do some things in the playoffs, as will Monterey with a chance to get in the playoffs this year. So it'll be fun for both of those teams going down the road.
Hopefully they can keep that momentum. It's really hard to defend, especially now that everyone runs spread. It's really hard to defend the I formation.
Yeah, look at what Liberty Hill did last week with Hutto. And Hutto, we have Will Hammond at Hutto, who's committed to play at Texas Tech, 4-star quarterback, throws for 800 yards in one game, Robbie. 800 yards in one game. Rush for 6 touchdowns, threw for another 4.
Yeah, 10 total.
And 10 total touchdowns. And his team lost to a wing T, what we used to run in high school.
Yeah.
Lost to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. 428 GO right down the gut. And Liberty Hill ran for just as many yards and beat him 82-81.
Wild.
It's insane, right? And Liberty Hill, I think, threw it 4 times in that ball game.
Yeah.
Couldn't get stopped. And Liberty Hill is just a really good team, but.
Roy says duck for lunch. I have a confession. I've never had duck.
Oh, it's not bad.
I've never had it.
You got to get really smoke it. Smoke a duck. Go for it. It's really good.
Not a lot of duck breasts here in
Not a lot.
no. You don't really see it on the menus here in Lubbock.
No, probably not.
Not on the Chili's menu.
It's not on the. I haven't seen it at Las Brisas either. If we're going there, so
It could
not that
be.
I'm looking for. Not that I'm looking for it.
Duck. Can you get duck in Lubbock? That's the question. If we can, maybe I go get it.
And not Peking duck like Chinese duck, but like smoked, duck. Peking duck's not bad either. But
yeah. Roy says never had it either. Might have to try it depending on the outcome. I'm sure there will be a couple of ducks out of the tailgate. People do the themed tailgates. What are your thoughts on the themed tailgate?
I like it.
Legs for TCU.
I was just about to go there. Frog legs for TCU. When TCU came back into the conference, all of a sudden frog legs were popular again for tailgate. Frog legs are one of my favorite things to eat. First of all, really, really good. Tastes just like chicken, tender. Smoke that too. Pretty much you can smoke anything. Yeah. And it's good. But yeah, I'm down with the themed tailgates. Love it.
Fair. All right. Let's see. What else do we have? Micah Hudson.
Yeah, he showed out last night.
I did not get to watch the full game, but I did watch some highlights of Micah Hudson. He looks legit.
He's really good.
I mean, good grief. The guy just, every time I see him, he's making a play.
Yeah, I mean, he made a play last night, Rob. I was trying to find the if there was a highlight of it, but in the first quarter, so the first pass of the game, he gets a big grab for 40-something yards, gets tackled inside the 5, and they score. Next possession, they get it to him, run a little double move over the middle, makes one guy miss, and I mean by miss, he juked his jock strap off twice.
That's the one I saw, yeah.
Yeah, just insane.
Gets him turned around and then jukes him again.
Yeah, juked him again. And then one guy just comes up behind him and just slides right off of him.
Yeah.
The kid's strong. He goes up and catches balls everywhere. I mean, and they know who he is. They tried to double cover him some last night too, and he still gets open. And I know we're talking about high school kids versus what he'll see in the Big 12 or SEC, wherever he ends up going. But yeah, that is that kid, what he jumps out. Some guys in high school, they're overhyped a little bit in my mind. Micah Hudson is not. He is every single bit deserving of the number 3 spot in the country, the number 2 recruit in the state of Texas overall. I mean, the kid is legit. And if his dad has any pull whatsoever of his days here at Texas Tech, then Micah should end up in a red and black jersey. And hopefully it's not the red and black of Ohio State, and it's the red and black, the scarlet and black of Texas Tech.
I have seen a new school emerge in Alabama.
Yeah.
Vying for his services.
They talked about that last night.
Texas Tech, Texas A&M, and Alabama.
They took Texas off his list last night.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they wasn't even on the list that he had given ESPN last night. So
still A&M, Texas Tech, and Alabama.
Yeah, and Oklahoma and Ohio State. I mean,
Ohio State added.
Ohio State's still in the running. Yeah.
All right.
He wouldn't have to switch jerseys. Lake Belton's jerseys look exactly like Ohio State's.
Yeah.
Exactly like them. But yeah, it'd be cool to see him in Lubbock. I mean, he's a difference maker, both in return game. Yeah. I mean, Red Oak ends up winning this game last night. Another overtime thriller, by the way. It might be the best game ESPN will telecast all season. I don't know why they just don't telecast a game of the week in Texas every week, because you have one of those every single week here in the state of Texas.
Yep.
They should just have ESPN Texas, and that should just for high school football on Thursday and Friday nights.
That'd be awesome.
It would be sweet, right? But
ESPN too.
Yeah, no, everybody will watch it. I mean, everybody loves Friday Night Lights, and they get to watch it in person. It's literally that, minus the drama. So, but yeah, he that game last night, the quarterback for Red Oak, the Moody kid, he's going to have some offers after what he did on national TV last night. He's a senior, first-year starter. He was dangerous last night, both with the arm and the legs. He got a cannon for a right arm. He's not big. He's 5'10", maybe. But he performed really well last night, and that's what you have to do on a big stage. Micah Hudson did it, showed why he's the number 2 overall recruit in the state of Texas, number 3 in the wide receivers in the country. And then the Moody kid last night for Red Oak showed that he should be getting some D1 offers, and I'm sure he will after what he did last night.
Just because we're talking high school football, Estacado also played last night. They're 3-0.
Yeah, big win for Estacado, 3-0. This team and Bobby Ross, another guy that we've talked about on this show. Bobby Ross is a kid that cannot leave Lubbock, much like what we were talking about with Leighton Stone at Friendship. I think he's a guy that you can't let leave the city and get out of your hands, other than ending up in a Texas Tech jersey. Like that's the only way that ends well. And I don't want to say it ends well for both of them because I think they can go be successful other places. But for Texas Tech, I think you've got to be able to recruit the highest caliber athletes in this area. You've got to be able to get them in school at Texas Tech.
Yeah, and that's what you've been saying. You've been saying you're going to recruit West Texas. That's recruiting West Texas. Getting the
put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah, especially in Lubbock.
Yeah, or put your mouth where the money is. Is basically how it should go here.
One of the two. Ryan, on the comment of it's just Texas A&M, Texas Tech, and Alabama, just a couple of blue bloods there.
Yeah, just a couple.
Who was the local kicker that was bombing 60 and 70 yarders in practice last night? Was that Cub Patton?
Yeah, Cub Patton. Super? Yeah.
I think he's a junior this year.
Yeah, he's a junior this year.
He's been as well.
Yeah, he's been. I don't know if he's been offered because a lot of times kickers don't get offered that early, but yeah, he'll. I think he ends up at Texas Tech. Let's just put it that way.
It seems likely.
Yeah,
or at least
he'll be on visit this weekend as well.
I don't know that we mentioned it, but so will Micah Hudson. Micah Hudson in town this weekend.
Yeah, Micah Hudson will be in town. I'm sure his dad will. Mr. Royal will accompany him, and it should be and there's going to be, I think, Will Hammond will be in town this weekend, the quarterback from Hutto, Micah Hudson. A lot of commits will be here this weekend, along with some of the guys like the Micah Hudsons who you're hoping to commit this weekend or later on in the period here as we get closer to December. Not that commitments mean anything because till they sign that piece of paper, it doesn't really matter. And really, when they sign that piece of paper, it doesn't really matter anymore because of the transfer portal. So just until they get in uniforms is all that matters.
Is he available to kick tomorrow night? No, I don't believe so.
That would be awesome, wouldn't it? Just graduate early, come out and kick.
It's a great name. Yes, Cub Patton. Let's see. Lock of the weekend from Big Hen. Lock of the weekend, taking the over on the amount of fun had this weekend with the fellas. Taking the under on the number of L's Texas Tech takes. Also an over on number of Dove I'm going to kill.
Yeah. It's opener for Dove season. Yeah.
That sounds like a long weekend.
Now, Dove's a great meal too. Wrap those babies in bacon.
Well,
I'm getting hungry. It is lunchtime. We're talking about food.
Okay. Well, we can move it on. Let's continue to talk football, but talk about the Chiefs. We'll get to college football at the end. The Kansas City Chiefs losing to the Lions last night, 21-20, including a pick six that Kadarius Toney just volleyball set to the Lions. He had 3 drop passes. The wide receivers sucked. What more can you do if you're Patrick Mahomes? I mean, you have to have Travis Kelce on the field. His knee got hyperextended. He missed the game. He might miss multiple weeks. The Kansas City Chiefs losing one to Detroit. I don't care that they lost. Kansas City is one of those teams that just has to be in the playoffs. They don't have to win the division. They don't have to be at home. Just get Patrick Mahomes into the playoffs and he can make a Super Bowl. Now, he hasn't done that yet because they've been in the first position. But it just seems to me that the Chiefs, after game 1, overreaction Monday here on a Friday.
yeah.
They're taking a step back. They're taking a step back. I don't know that they're going to lose the division. They've won this division so many times, and I don't know who in this division takes a step forward and beats them. Maybe the Chargers. Maybe the Broncos. If Sean Payton gets it going, I don't know. I don't think the Raiders will, but it just seems to me that the Chiefs could win that division at, 13-4 instead of 15-2 and not be the 1 seed.
Yeah, like you said,
that's a step back.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, I don't think it matters if they win the division, what happens. They're in the playoffs. They have a chance to win a Super Bowl. I mean, It's Patrick Mahomes is your quarterback. hopefully you can get Chris Jones to sign a daggum contract, and then he's back on the defense because you sure missed him last night at times on the defensive line. That's been big. That'll be big for them here in the next couple of weeks. I think you've got to come to some decision with Chris Jones, either that or try and find something else out there to solidify the defensive line. The receiving core, we're seeing the loss of what a Travis Kelce does. You're seeing what, Juju Smith-Schuster, for what he did in 1 year with the Chiefs last year, it can't be unsaid. It can't be undersaid is how big he was at times coming up for them. Valdez-Scantling was better last year. He was not good last night. But yeah, Kadarius Toney was horrendous last night. He was so bad he might get practice squatted this week.
He lost the game.
Yeah, point blank, period.
I mean, that volleyball set to the defense lost the game.
And then they showed there was a still shot floating around on Twitter last night of him. The ball is literally right in front of him in his hands. And this, and the caption says, "This ended up being a pick six from Patrick Mahomes."
Yeah.
And the crappy part is it goes against Patrick Mahomes' stats. Now he's going to throw more interceptions. He might throw more pick sixes this year, but still, it's one of those things where it's not a pick that's his fault. And you have a elite quarterback like that. He puts it on the money. There's a few of them too, where he threw one, I think it was to Valdez-Scantling, and he threw it a little bit behind him because he had to, couldn't lead him into the defense. So he throws it behind him, hits him in the hands, drop. I mean, there was, I don't know how many drops last night that I counted, but flipping back and forth between the Red Oak game, Red Oak and Lake Belton to watch Micah Hudson play, and then the Chiefs game, the Red Oak, and that both really good games. I was doing picture in picture at times.
Yeah.
But it was hard to watch that offense last night, man. And they couldn't run the football. The Lions defense is really good. What do you expect from a Dan Campbell coach team? So, and the Lions are going to be a good team.
They might be good.
They might win their division.
Well,
they've got a chance.
They will. I mean, they absolutely have the opportunity to win the division, but that's one of the worst.
That's what I mean. Their division's not good. So they could go 10-6 or whatever, however many games you play now in the NFL, 10-7, and win their division. But I think they'll win 10 or more games.
The Lions in that division have a chance to get the 1 seed.
I agree. Yeah. And get a bye in the first round.
Just because you get to play the Bears and the Packers and the Vikings.
Yeah, and none of them are going to be any good except for maybe the Vikings with Kirk Cousins. But everybody else.
The Vikings defense is trash.
It's not good. Yeah. I mean, look at them last year in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
Trash. Couldn't stop anybody.
Couldn't stop the Giants.
The Giants of all people.
Speaking of the Giants, Jackson is trolling me a little bit here, I think. Start, bench, cut, Dak, CJ Stroud, Daniel Jones. I'll cut the rookie because I don't know what he is yet.
Yeah.
Start Dak and bench Daniel Jones.
I'm starting Daniel Jones, benching Dak, and cutting CJ Stroud.
Daniel Jones, you've always been a Daniel Jones guy ever since Duke.
I have, ever since he was a Duke.
You were a huge Daniel Jones guy in that draft that you wanted.
And I've never been a Dak guy. I've always said Dak is a little above average.
You'll grow to love the Packers. No, I won't. I've known the Packers for 34 years of my life, and I still hate them. I always hate them. I don't love them. I won't grow to love them. And I know that's a Jordan Love joke, but no.
I don't think Packer fans will grow to love him either, to be honest.
I don't know. The only man to ever make Matt Wells look great was Jordan Love.
That's true.
To overcome Matt Wells has to be a pretty big accomplishment. Dak's better than Daniel Jones. I agree, Jackson. He was coached by Peyton Manning's coach, Hall of Famer confirmed. I think that's about Daniel Jones.
That's true. David Cutcliffe. He coached him at Duke. Go Duke. Duke's 1-0.
Duke is 1-0.
Big win.
We didn't really recap the week much this week as we were doing other things, but what do you think about that Duke Clemson game?
I thought that Clemson looked pretty bad, and Duke made Duke look like a number 5 ranked team versus what Clemson should have looked like. Like Duke controlled the football game from the outset. It never looked like Clemson had any any sort of control over that football game. Duke controlled the game from beginning to the end, and it showed in the score and on the field and what you saw on TV. Even if you didn't watch it, you could tell. Look at the stats. I thought Cade Klubnik would be better.
Is Dabo washed?
Yeah, that's one of those things right there where it might be one of those times where it just has run its course, and everybody's like, down on Clemson. They won 10 games last year, so it's not like it's horrendous of what he's been doing. He won 10 games, and that was a down year for Clemson.
Yeah,
they could still win 10 games this year. They could go undefeated the rest of the year and figure things out. But sometimes and when you expect to win a national title every year, kind of like Alabama last year, very disappointing season for Alabama, right? Everybody's ticked off and everything because Georgia's winning their back-to-back national championship. We're not even in the mix.
Right.
Like, there's 2 Big Ten teams that got in the playoff versus us.
It's a different level of expectation.
Yeah, different levels of expectations, make it to where if you don't make the college football playoff at Clemson, then you look like you're unsuccessful.
Right.
And how long can Dabo Swinney, get away with that? I don't know, because last year was the first year they missed the playoff, and I don't know how long. I think every year they made the playoff until then, but maybe 1 or 2 other years.
There was a good stretch there. I don't think they made the first couple, but then there was Florida State had a couple.
That's right. And Florida State might make it this year. They looked really. Devin Travis, whoo, he looked really good. Really, really good. Really solidified in the quarterback role. His first couple of years, he did not look great. He looked like he just would go through his first, second read, and then if it's not there, he panicked. And but yeah, he looked really good on Sunday night though against LSU.
A little bit like Bo Nix, who struggled at Auburn, struggled in his first year at Oregon, but seemingly looks pretty good now. They played Portland State.
Struggling in his first game at Oregon against Georgia. Georgia's really good, and then he was really good last year at the end of every game after that.
Really good last year.
Yeah.
Seemingly has figured out a lot of things. Came back for a final season. What are your thoughts overall on this game tomorrow? Texas Tech versus Oregon.
I mean, it's a tall task for Texas Tech. Oregon's offense really dominant, really good. Bo Nix, like you said, this is his 5th, 6th year in a college football uniform. He's got the keys to that offense. He knows how to run it. They've pretty much just given him free reign of it, to be honest with you. And that's what you do with a guy like that. He's going to be a top, I think he's going to be one of the top 5 quarterbacks in this next draft. They have good running backs, a couple good wide receivers. They're better up front than I thought Tech would be good up front. Last week didn't look so great. I think Oregon's better up front. If we're talking about position battles, I think that Oregon, other than at wide receiver overall, I think Oregon wins a position battle just because of what they have. Now, I want to give Taj Brooks and Cameron Valdez a leg up, but it's hard to do that when you didn't rush for, jack squat last week. So the offensive line in Oregon's better. The quarterback is better. And then you go to the defensive side, and Oregon's defense, they have a defensive coordinator as their head coach. So, and Dan Lanning's been good everywhere he's been. So I think Oregon's defense is going to show you some things that you have prepared for and some things that you haven't prepared for, because they'll throw some new things at you every single week. So it'll be interesting to see. They're really good in the secondary really quick. So I think Tech has a chance to win because it's in the Jones at night. Coming off of a loss last week may have made him hungry and pissed off, which I hope it did. And Joey said that last night in his coach's show. But
that's the question. How do you respond?
Yeah, and that's always the question, right? And especially for Joey McGuire, a guy that doesn't really lose in his career. Even when he was at Cedar Hill, dude didn't lose. And when he did lose, he never lost 2 in a row at any point, I don't think. So, and even while in his tenure at Baylor, that one year that they lost Art Briles and then brought in I can't remember who they brought in, the old guy. Yeah, Jim Grobe. There you go. Thank you.
Yeah.
He came in, and Joey McGuire was the one constant on that staff that kind of held everything together. And then Dave Aranda's first year, they were really good. So
he wasn't there with Jim Grobe. He came in with Matt Rule.
Did he come in with Matt Rule? That's
Yeah.
right. Okay, you're right. Yeah, he came in with Matt Rule, not Dave Aranda, Matt Rule, and then they were really good. So, yeah, I think that Joey, it's how do you respond, and if you lose a close one to Oregon, I think you can take it. But if you just get drubbed and blown out at home, all this momentum and everything, I'm not saying that I don't still have high hopes for the season that you can't win, 6, 7, 8 games. It's just it'll be tougher.
Yeah, well, when you're losing games, you have less games to win.
Well, and I mean by the fan base support. Yeah.
Oh man, it'll be a tough start if you're 0-2.
Yeah.
Especially after everything that was said over the offseason. 60 minutes of us. We're the toughest, hardest working, most competitive team. This team would beat the last team by 14, the bowl team. I mean, all that stuff.
You weren't that team on Saturday in Wyoming.
No, you weren't. A couple of comments on the starting line, chat line. What's on the hat? It looks like an F. It's
Radio Waves.
Radio Waves. RB, the Rob Bro Show with Carson Robinson.
The OG hat right there.
Yeah, this is the logo from the 2016 to 2020 show.
We also got that hat too.
Yeah, there you go. Mine's disgusting.
I think we might have a couple others laying around, so we might do a giveaway.
I do. I have at least 2 in a box over here. They're small mediums.
Yeah, that's what this one is. So it's kind of just cuts
squeeze your head a little bit.
My dome. So just around in the off for look.
Yeah. If you have a small
purposes,
I'll give one away. If you want one, comment. Rob, what's on the agenda at the Blue Light tonight? Beers and ball.
Good question.
We'll do a live show. Doors open at 8 p.m. Then Kyle and I will do a live show at 8:45 p.m. And then Aiden Logston will play. And then Mason and the Gin Line will shut it down tonight at the Blue Light.
Love that.
And y'all can come out. It's a $12 cover, but that helps pay the bands. So come out, pay your $12. 8:45 start time for the Gambling Gauchos. And then Aiden Logston and Mason and the Gin Line after that. It's be a good time.
The Lone Star is always cold. It's always cheap.
Absolutely. Maybe have what do they call them? Pickle burns. Gotta say, Rob is a class act. Said he's getting my cover and my drinks. I will buy you one drink. I'll buy your cover, Jackson. Just let me know when you get there. I got you, Jackson.
That's good.
You're driving all the way down. Unless you get there after
Haley asked.
I'll be on the stage.
Haley asked if we have an opinion on angry Mac Brown.
I love it. If any coach is mad or pissed at the NCAA, I'm in.
Give me more of it. Yeah. Every single one of them should be.
Yeah.
Like no coach that coaches in college athletics in the NCAA should support the NCAA. Like they are, and some of them might because they are in the boat, the old school thinking of they don't want to, players shouldn't get paid. Players shouldn't have all this freedom, all this crap. Well, that's that way of thinking is gone. See you later. Get out of here. Players deserve every little bit because this thing wasn't a billion with a B, $1 billion business, 20 years ago. It just wasn't. Now it's a multi-billion dollar business, what college football is. I mean, look at what they're doing here at Texas Tech with the money that's been raised, the facilities that are being put in. I mean, and Texas Tech is a little bit behind in the arms race as far as all that goes. Look at Alabama. Any SEC school besides Vanderbilt, throw Vanderbilt out. They're building that stuff now too to get right with the times and to get right with in line with everybody else in the SEC. But I mean, what you're looking at is a $1 billion business. And if the NCAA can't get behind that these kids deserve more because they're making you so much money, then I don't know what their deal is. They're just trying to keep it all for themselves. They're selfish, and they've always been. I mean, it's always been that way. And now is the time to change. And I've been on board with this since they came out with the pay the players thing. I just said the only thing you got to figure out is how do you pay the players? How do you keep it where it's a level playing field everywhere you go. And, Power 5 schools can pay their players this much money, and the group of 5 can pay their players this much money. I think it comes down to that. There's got to be a cap rate on it, but I do think that kids should be reimbursed for their time and services, because nowadays it's even more of a job than it was, 15, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. It just changed. The landscape of college athletics has changed so much, and there's so much asked of these young men and women that play college athletics and especially going back to the nutrition, to, weightlifting programs, all these things, those weren't happening years and years ago. Like, you lifted weights, yeah, but you didn't do all this training and all these things. So I think it's well worth what these athletes get paid in NIL deals. And I think that they should get a little bit more on top from the universities as well that are making all this money off of them. And the NCAA. The NCAA is numero uno, is in the fact that these people don't do jack crap for these young men and women, and they make the money off of them.
Yeah.
Like,
all my homies,
it's not fair.
NCAA.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about a few more college football games coming up. I've got a note on Colorado, Nebraska. BetMGM, Carson.
Okay.
Says that there are more bets on the Colorado-Nebraska game than all of the remaining NFL games.
Wow. I wonder why that is, though, because, it's not like Nebraska's this juggernaut coming in.
It's Coach Prime. People are betting on him to win or fail.
What's the line?
Well, it was, I think it opened at 4.
Okay.
Another note, there are 3 times the number of bets on Colorado, Nebraska than any college football game.
Wow. Yeah, prime effect. You're right.
Prime effect, baby. I did see 95% of the betting handle was on Oregon, too.
That's fair. I would if I were to throw a little bit of cash on this one, I'd probably put my money on Oregon, too.
Yeah, probably. But I'm usually a bet the oppo, fade the public.
Yeah, I'm right there too. I don't usually do favorite betting, just because it doesn't make it. There's no return on investment hardly.
Right. Fade the public.
Yep. Now parlays, I'll probably take the favorites, but if I'm just going, yeah, all chalk can't lose. And last year it hit big for me one week. It was actually week 2 last week. Yeah.
There you go. Hey, it's a pretty good week of football.
Yeah, it's not a bad week.
Do you think Baylor can bounce back against Utah?
No, not even. I think Utah drubs them, like drubs them
in Waco.
In Waco, yeah, they're going to be 0-2 in Waco, and they're going to beat them worse than Texas State beat them, and Texas State pretty much put it on them. I'll tell you what,
bigger, faster, stronger.
GJ Kinney is the hottest name in young college football coaches right now. What he did after Eric Morris left Incarnate Word, just kept the tempo, went to a national semifinal last year, lost to Sacramento State in double overtime at Sacramento State. Then what he did in his first game at Texas State. Spavital, I thought Spav was a good coach. He couldn't do anything at Texas State and had no success. GJ Kinney gets in there and beats a Baylor team, which I know Baylor's not going to be great this year, but you shouldn't lose to a Texas State team that's won, 8 games combined in the last 4 years?
They'd never won a Power 5 game.
No, ever.
Ever.
Since 2012 or 14, whenever they entered the FBS. So, yeah, if there was a lock of all locks, it would be Utah at Baylor this week. There's no way Baylor. And of course, then you look at the QB ratings from last year. Did you see what Pro Football Focus or College Football Focus put on their Twitter? The quarterback ratings from last year. Guess who was number 2? Blake Shapen. Number 2. The Baylor quarterback. He gets beat by Texas State, and he's number 2 in QBR for week 1.
So you're going 7.5? You'd take it at 7.5? Minus 7.5 Utah?
Yeah. I'd take it at 14.5.
14.5. I'll take it. I'll go there with you. Give me plus
Utah
just for fun.
Utah beats them by 3 touchdowns at least.
All right. Illinois, Kansas tonight. Illinois plus 3.5 on the road in Lawrence. What are your thoughts there?
Should be a good ball game. Brett Bielema's going to grind the clock out. I know that. I like Kansas. Give me Kansas.
A little bit of clash of styles there.
Yeah. Go. I like. Yeah, a little bit of clash of styles. I like the Jayhawks though.
All right, an update on the bet
game.
percentage. An update on the bet percentage. It's now at 74% Oregon. Comment here says there are more bets on Oregon, but more money on Tech. Read this morning that smart money whales are picking Tech. This is licking, but I think it means picking. They're licking their lips.
I mean, I would be too. You can make some money off of it if Tech were to win.
Yeah. Oh, you certainly could. They're plus 6.5. It's evenly juiced though, at plus 6.5.
Yeah. That's weird. You don't see that a whole lot. And obviously it's because it's in Lubbock, I would assume that's why that is.
Yeah. Any more locks for the weekend? You want to go through these Big 12 games real fast?
Yeah, just go through them real quick.
Troy, Kansas State minus 16.5. Total 51.5.
Yeah, give me Kansas State.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't bet that one at 16.5.
No.
But I think they'll win. What is this? Southern Utah University versus BYU, no spread.
Southern Utah versus BYU, yeah. Yeah, BYU. I mean, if they lose to Southern Utah, then, they have a cool mascot, the Thunderbirds mascot for Southern Utah.
It looks like a Thunderbird.
Does it?
There's a stroke of lightning underneath an eagle.
Yeah, there you go.
I would not have known a Thunderbird. The Cy-Hawk Classic, Iowa versus Iowa State in Ames. All the presidential candidates are there, and Iowa's favored by 4.
It's a good time to be a presidential candidate in Iowa for this weekend, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's in one spot.
Yeah.
Give me, man, I think I would take, I'll take Iowa State in this game.
Can you imagine the security trying to get into this game?
Oh my gosh.
It was a shit show last week.
How many bets are on the game? That's the question. And who is betting on the game? How many players' moms have bets on this game? We'll know how many players have the bets on this game.
According to Iowa State, 12.6 Action Network, 12.6 thousand bets on the game. Got to be a couple hundred there from student athletes.
Yeah, at least.
You taking Iowa State plus 4?
Yeah, give me Iowa State plus 4.
I think Iowa wins. I don't know that I have a feel on the line, but I think Iowa will win.
Yeah, I don't have a feel for it. I just am hoping Iowa State would win so that my fake bet will produce something.
Go Big 12.
Yeah, go Big 12.
Let's see. SMU, Oklahoma.
SMU 1-0.
1-0. Beat Sonny Cumbie.
Yep, beat Sonny Cumbie. 38-14. Yeah, Oklahoma's going to win. Dylan Gabriel's really good. SMU lost Tanner Mordecai. They're playing with the I think the Stone kid is playing quarterback. No, I can't remember who the SMU quarterback is this year now.
I didn't get to watch the game.
Anyways, doesn't matter. But yeah, Peyton Stone from Parish Episcopal is the quarterback.
Good for
SMU. He was a 4-star recruit. SMU. Sonny Dykes recruited him to SMU. Thought he might leave SMU and go to TCU with Sonny, but he stayed at SMU. Tanner Mordecai's now at Wisconsin.
OU minus 16?
I don't know that I would take that. Preston Stone is his name, I think.
Preston?
Yeah.
Preston or Peyton?
Preston.
One of those white names.
Yeah, Preston Stone. Confirmed.
That sounds like
private school kid.
Yeah.
Kind of like Rob Bro and Carson Robinson.
Yeah. Robert.
Definitely not Parish Episcopal private school kids, though.
Robert back then, yeah. Cincinnati Pitt. This is a 7-point line. Pitt favored. Total at 45. Take the over. Hammer the over.
Yeah, hammer the over. I don't think either defense is that good. Give me Pitt, though. Narduzzi's squad will beat Cincinnati.
On the CW, Cincinnati Pitt. Do you have the CW?
Yeah, I think so. I think you can get it on basic cable, can't you? Just throw that little magnet pad on the wall and you can get it there. Yeah.
Let's see. Texas, Bama plus
Bama.
7, Texas.
You know, I'll never
pick Texas.
bet on Texas or pick Texas. So give me Bama.
Total 54. You have any thoughts on that? It was a dead under last year.
Man, I want to say that the final score is going to be like 31-28. So that would be the over.
Would be
31-28, 31-25, 21, somewhere in there. But so it might be close. I'd take the over. I don't think Texas defense is as good this year. And by
the way,
Milroe. What's his name?
You just bet on Texas.
Oh yeah, that's true. I did, didn't I? Making it a 3-point. Okay, give me Alabama by 10. But yeah, the quarterback at Alabama, that kid is dangerous, man. Milroe, isn't that his name?
I think so.
Yeah, just dangerous with his legs. And he rushed for as many yards as he threw for last week.
Yeah. All right, Houston Rice, Houston minus 9.5, but it's a road game. Driving all the way over to Houston.
Are they playing at Rice or are they playing at NRG?
It's at Rice.
Yeah, it says it's at Rice. So yeah, give me Houston
on the NFL Network.
Yeah, NFL Network.
UCF Boise minus 3.5.
UCF, yeah,
I think so too. TCU, Nicholls State, both 0-1, but Nicholls is an FCS. TCU will get right there.
There's probably not a line on that one since it's FCS.
No, it's like 35 probably.
Yeah.
Then Oklahoma State, Arizona State. Oklahoma State minus 3 in Tempe.
Ooh, Oklahoma State favored in Tempe.
Yeah. Total of 55.5.
Without doing a ton of investigating what Arizona State looks like this year. Is Rashada the quarterback at Arizona State?
You know what? I have no idea.
I have no idea.
Arizona State at all. I don't care about Arizona State particularly.
Who's going to play quarterback for Oklahoma State this week?
That's a better question. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know anything about this game right now.
Garrett Rangel will probably be the starter. He looked like the best quarterback last week, even though he threw an interception. Alan Bowman was just balls. He was
Alan Bowman. He was Alan Bowman.
He was Alan Bowman. I mean, he was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and then Cooper Gundy, did he play last week?
He did. Gundy played too, but he was he took care of the ball. He didn't throw a touchdown.
No.
I think he was like 8 of 9.
Man, I want to take Arizona State in this one just because I'm not impressed with Oklahoma State. But I
put the under on their season total.
Yeah.
So I'm also going to take Arizona State.
You kind of have to at this point, right?
Yeah, I'm stacking bets there.
Kind of have to.
Stacking bets there.
That's fair.
All right, any national games you're looking forward to? I know you're a big Notre Dame guy. You looking forward to Notre Dame?
Yeah, huge Notre Dame guy. You know me all too well.
Sam Hartman, Heisman Trophy candidate.
You're not looking forward to the Buckeyes hosting the Penguins this week? The old what was Ohio State's
Jim Tressel?
Yeah, Jim Tressel Bowl. The Tressel Bowl?
No, it's not.
Yeah,
that's not me.
Came from Youngstown State to Ohio State.
Is that still Bo Pelini?
Is Bo Pelini still there?
I don't know.
I know sneaky good matchup. It's a top 20 top 25 matchup. Ole Miss at Tulane. Sneaky good matchup right here. Tulane season, like if they want to have a shot at maybe making a college football playoff this year is the American Athletic Conference. If they can run through that table, if they beat Ole Miss, they've got a chance because that's a Power 5 team, Power 5 win, top 20 win.
Yep.
Right there on your resume. Big game for them. Big game for Ole Miss, too, for Lane Kiffin. I don't think you can go to Tulane. Now, Tulane's good. Don't get me wrong. But I don't think an SEC team Jackson Dart looked pretty good last week. I think that Ole Miss wins at Tulane, but kind of pulling for Tulane a little bit, too.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorite games I'll be watching. But other than that, there's just not a whole lot this week that I really truly care about.
I think the Big 12 slate is decent. Texas, Alabama is going to be a big game, one way or the other, even though you hate Texas.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that Tulane Ole Miss game is really sneaky good because both teams are trying to figure out some stuff.
Right.
Long term. And Tulane, they are kind of the Cincinnati of this year. They play well. They beat Kansas State last year. They go to the Sugar Bowl.
Cotton Bowl was a playoff last year, right?
I guess so. They played USC. Did they beat USC last year? Tucker says looking good. I'm sure you are.
They beat USC 46-45.
So that's basically exactly what Cincinnati did. And then in year 2 of their run, they went to the playoff. So Tulane in the mix.
I mean, Tulane's last 5 games, the last 4 games last year, beat SMU 59-24, beat Cincinnati 27-24, beat UCF 45-28, then beat USC 46-45. Tulane's a good team. And they return, their leading passer in the Pratt kid. He was good. He threw for 4 touchdowns last week. That was against South Alabama, but still, I mean, Jackson Dart, they both have about the same exact stats. Jackson Dart threw for 4 touchdowns as well last week, and they played Mercer, though, last week. So it's not like they played a quality opponent, but that was Ole Miss's first win in their last 5 games.
Yeah.
Going back to last year, they finished 0-4.
Well.
No, they finished terribly last year, especially in the bowl game against Texas Tech. We drubbed them.
Yes, we did.
I just used the we.
We did.
We drubbed them.
I was there
because we had such a big part in it.
Yeah, I was there.
Yeah,
press box.
That's fair. You were
drunk in the press box. Statute of limitations.
That's
I
right.
was sober by halftime.
They can't take your credentials away for that. You weren't the only one.
I don't have credentials anymore, so
that's fair.
All right. Anything else?
We didn't touch on the Rangers. Adolis Garcia going on the IL. No, we don't need to. It's all negative.
No, hold on. Evan Carter up tonight.
Yeah, that's fun. That's nice. Does that basically say that they're throwing in the towel? I mean, obviously, Adolis going on the IL helps that reasoning.
Yeah.
But you bringing up Evan Carter, does it say, hey, we want to give this kid a look?
If Josh Young doesn't play again, they're throwing in the towel. If Evaldi or Scherzer go back on the IL or go on the IL, they're throwing it in. But I don't think Evan Carter, he's just the next man up.
Right. That's true. That's a fair point.
So it's kind of a necessity here. I wish they would have brought him up sooner. I know about that kind of stuff when you're
still only 3 games back. You still got a chance. I mean,
you're out of the wild card though.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think you're a game back in the wild card.
Yeah. Yeah. You're
you need the win because last week we were saying, you haven't been good, but you're still in the playoffs. You'll be in the playoffs. But no, you're not even in the wild card race right now.
Yeah, with the way that Seattle's been, and Toronto's right there too. You're a half game back of Seattle and Toronto. That's what it says.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's not looking good, looking bleak here in the last month, and it just has come down to injuries. You can chalk it up to injuries. I mean, losing Josh Young is when you started really struggling. You had lost Jonah Heim for a while. You lost Nathan Eovaldi for a while. I mean, it just hasn't been – the Astros, on the other hand, lost all their good players early in the year, like with
Altuve.
Thank you, Altuve going on the DL. Yeah, Alvarez went on the DL with the oblique before the All-Star break.
Yeah.
They're completely healthy right now.
Yeah.
Other than maybe a couple bullpen arms because Parker Mashinsky did get pulled back up. Of course, the roster's expanded too. So,
yeah.
Park got pulled back up.
By the way, Mason Montgomery, AAA.
Yeah, cool to see that. Yeah.
Chase Hampton up in the AAA level.
Yeah, it sucked.
Oh, did you see Jace Young this week?
Yeah, hit a walk-off or hit 3 home runs in a game. What was it?
He had 2 straight games with 2 home runs.
Yeah, that's right.
So he had 4 home runs in 2 games, just like Jose Altuve.
He's tearing it up, man. He's tearing it up. I mean, I see Jace Young being up in the big leagues next year.
I think he has 26 home runs this year.
Yeah, leads, and that's in multiple levels of minor league baseball. But yeah, 26 bombs in the minor leagues is pretty stout stuff.
I think a lot of them have been in Double A.
Yeah, most of them. Yeah, because he got moved up to Double A real quick.
Yeah. So there you go.
I wouldn't be surprised to see him maybe make a debut here at the end of the month when, they just the Tigers have been out of it for a long time.
No, I don't think he'll be pulled up this year.
He could be. You never know.
He certainly could be.
Those teams like the Tigers that aren't playing for anything.
Yeah, true.
They could pull him because he's one of their top prospects. You always like to pull up a top prospect, puts butts in seats late in the year when you might have 3,000 people show up to Comerica Park, whatever it is.
See if he can hit a couple bombs.
Yeah, see if he can hit his first major league home run, but at least it'll get an extra few people in the seats to come watch your top prospect. One of them.
Yeah. Hey, I'm in.
Yeah.
All right. Now, anything else?
No, I'm out. I'm all out.
All right.
All out of ideas.
We will be live tonight at the Blue Light. We'll see you all there. 8:45. Doors open at 8 o'clock. We'll be going on at 8:45. And then again, Aiden Logston and Mason in the Gen Line after that. So we'll see you at the Blue Light tonight. I think I saw at least one commenter saying they were going to be there. So we'll see you there, Ryan. That is the starting line chat line. We were live in the Diversified Lender studio. Carson, always good to talk to you. Do you have a score prediction for Oregon, Texas Tech?
Do you want my score prediction for
Oregon, Texas? I'm going to give one tonight.
Oregon 38, Texas Tech 31.
Okay. Yeah, I figured it was.
I don't like it, but
I don't like it either, but I think that's pretty much what I'm going to say. We'll see. Maybe live and in person, I'll go a different way.
Yeah, with a couple beverages. Yeah.
Yeah, with a couple beverages. All right. That's it from us. We'll be back on Monday. At least I will be. Maybe Carson will be too. I don't know. For an Overreaction Monday. We'll see what happens. This is the Rob Bro Show. We'll be back then.
Peace.